We are Cactus Wrestling. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos.
Cactus Wrestling is now available on Spotify and Amazon. And don't forget to check us out on Etsy for all of your Cactus Wrestling apparel needs.
Welcome back to Cactus Wrestling. Today we are recapping who's number one. What a great event. Seems like it gets better every year. Some absolutely fire matches in the men's division. And man, some of these high school guys just seem to get better and better year after year. So let's start it off. For those of you guys that watched it, you probably understand what we're getting at here. But if you didn't, they didn't go 106, 13, 20, etc. this year. They kind of bounced around a little bit. So we're going to start at the top, which was match 1 of 150 between Jaden James of New Jersey and Colin Guy of Pennsylvania, where the winner would move on to wrestle later in the day against Maddox Shaw, also from Pennsylvania. So,
Sorry, Bob.
oh yeah, starting at the tippy top, Jaden James coming in, number 2, Colin Guy coming in, number 3. I think when we did the video, Jack and I predicted Jaden James was going to win this match, and sure enough, he did. So,
10-6 is a solid.
Yeah, I think that I really enjoy the 3-point takedown. The more I see it, so Jaden James scores first, hits a duck under, with it was about 2 minutes left in the period. It was college rules, so it was 3-2-2.
I like that they did that for this event.
I like that in general. I think that that's awesome. I really have said this in the past. I think that the more the high school can emulate the college level of wrestling, the better. I'd love to see riding time. I just know that it'll never happen at high school.
Now,
because
they could have every other rule in place except riding time, I think.
I would like to see riding time at maybe NHSCA, Super 32, stuff like that, like high level events. But I know that your average table worker at most high school dual meets will not be able to manage riding time.
No, they barely manage the clock as it is.
No, I know, I know. But oh yeah, so Colin Guy, then quick escape, but Jaden James back in on it, gets a body lock, gets another takedown, Guy another escape. So it's 6-2 at the end of the first.
And shocker, what Guy chooses to do.
Guy chooses down, gets to his feet quick. So another quick escape, 6-3, hits a low ankle. So it's 6-6 now. And I think that's one of the better things about the new 3-point takedown. But again, these are high level wrestlers. They're quick back to their feet. Jaden James gets another quick escape.
I always like the matches where it's kind of back and forth. They're scoring each other as opposed to when it's no scoring happens. No one's trying to do anything. They're just circling and hand fighting. I'd rather them just let it fly.
Yes, I love that. And if the points come, they come. If they don't, that's fine too. As long as they're trying to get after it. Jaden James then gets another takedown. And he goes into the third up 10-6, winning 3 takedowns to 1.
And then that was basically the match.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. Jaden James is like, hey, I'm doing so good on my feet. He picks neutral. Gets in on the leg, ends up going out of bounds. Gets in again, stalemate. And bit of a scramble, but James wins match 1 10-6. And that's about what I expected for him. Colin Guy is a great wrestler, but I thought Jaden James was on a heck of a run, and I did pick him to win this one.
Moving up down.
Yeah, 113. I did not expect this to go this way. So
I doubt anybody was expecting this to go this way.
Ignacio Villasenza versus Dominic Munaretto. Munaretto has had so much international and world.
I was going to say, didn't he recently have a real big internationally?
Yeah, I mean, he just hit another. I wrote this down because I was amazed by it then. But he's he's only the 8th American ever to win 2 medals at Cadet Worlds in freestyle. Winning his 2nd gold medal over another American, Freddie Bachman Jr., who we'll talk about later in the day. And this is an exclusive group of people. I mean, it's Kurt McHenry, Luke Lillidahl, Yanni Diakomihalis, Zach Ryder, Gable Steveson, Greg Kerkvliet, and Alex Facundo, I believe, was the entire list. So, like, not a Spencer Lee in there, not a Carter Starachi and Aaron Brooks, Kyle Dake, Jordan Burroughs. Like, none of those guys are. That's a very exclusive list.
Yeah,
so coming into this, I had him. I mean, he was the defending number one. I had him coming into this like this is the guy. But
as would be expected, yeah. I mean,
oh yeah. But what I love, I had a coach say this to me once, is that like seeding and rankings don't really matter. If they did, they wouldn't have matchups because if it only went by seeds, then it'd say, okay, well, you're the 3 seed, you're the 1 seed, you win by default. Let's move on to the next round. Okay, you wouldn't have matchups.
Why even wrestle these matches
exactly.
out? We already it.
So Villasenser gets in first period right after it, hits a high crotch, doesn't score immediately, scrambles, works through the position, ends up finally getting the 3, and is a leech on top. Rides out. He has a minute 30 of riding time. Again, I love that they did college rules for this, so you could actually have riding time.
A minute and a half. Yeah, that's
that's half the period. I mean,
yeah, that's not like Guy in the getting out with 10 seconds or less every single time. Like,
and I feel that so many wrestlers at the high school level now are really not focused on their riding ability because takedowns are worth so much now.
Yeah, that's true.
So
you don't see as many guys that are like monsters on top.
Yeah, you're seeing a lot of guys just really great from their feet, and I think it's why you're seeing so many guys successfully transitioning to freestyle. And I wonder if this is part of Dominic Munaretto's problem, and we'll kind of continue with it in the match, is that in freestyle, like if there's no action, they'll just stand you back up. So you don't have to be super great on bottom because they'll just be like, hey, you didn't get a turn, back to your feet. And that can't happen. And we saw that when Miles Amin wrestled Aaron Brooks. And Aaron Brooks was like, I'm going to ride. And he rode him like a dog. And Miles Amin even said after, he goes, it's just something I wasn't used to after doing so well in freestyle, is how exhausting top bottom is again.
Yeah, it takes a lot of energy to ride someone. It also takes a lot of energy to be ridden on bottom. Like, so, yeah.
So, second period, though, Villasenser goes down, Munaretto committing to riding. But after 30 seconds, Villasenser hits a reversal. So he's up 5-0, continues to ride. I think it's another like 35, 40 seconds in riding time. Finally, Munaretto earns his escape. He's down 5-1 going to the third. And again, seeing the success of Munaretto, I'm like, well, he'll make a comeback. I'm not worried about it. But
obviously, he's got this in the bag.
He picks neutral in the third. And I go, good choice. You're so good on your feet. Hits a quick go behind. Villasenser, quick escape right after. So you're thinking, okay, he's just going to try to start getting after these takedowns. It's 6-4. First stall call in the match goes against Villasenser, who then responds by going right into a high crotch, stalemate position, another stall, and he ends up winning 7-5. So gets a stall point, makes it 6-5, and the riding time makes it 7-5. So what a big upset, and really exciting match. I feel like Ignacio Villasenser is an Oklahoma guy and Munaretto is an Illinois guy. And I feel like sometimes those states kind of go by the wayside. Like we've talked about Illinois as a great freestyle and Greco state. And we've talked about them as a folk style success, not as high, but still good. And Oklahoma, a very good folk style state, one of the top states, but still people kind of forget how talented they are so much, with Pennsylvania, New Jersey always being mentioned in California.
Maybe under the David Taylor reign, Oklahoma will rise along with.
Oh yeah. And then 157. So this is a match I was really looking forward to. Wow.
I bet
Knocked
this
over.
didn't go how you were hoping it
No,
did.
no.
This one must have stung.
I have an excuse ready, so don't worry about it.
You have an excuse ready. I got it right here.
So, yeah, oh yeah,
Pull it
I've
out
been sitting
real
on this
quick
one.
and
I've been sitting on this. So 157, Landon Robidoux. It might be Robidoux. I always mess up his name as well. So if I'm wrong, please let me know. It's Robidoux or Robidoux,
I would
Robidoux.
say it's probably Robidoux.
But anyway, he's from Minnesota. Melvin Miller, Pennsylvania. Everyone who watches this channel knows that I love Melvin Miller. I love the Bishop McCourt boys. Love Pennsylvania wrestling in general. And Landon's the 3, Melvin's the 2.
I mean, this was a pretty commanding,
This was a very commanding.
start
I
to finish.
didn't
It was
expect this.
Robidoux.
Yeah. So yeah, it really was. I mean, so the first scoring at all is just a stall against Melvin with a little under 2 minutes left in the first. Robidoux gets a takedown,
Take down and
takes it out of
rides it
bounds.
out.
Yeah, takes it, gets the takedown, rides him out, over a minute riding time. Then, so he's up 3-0 with a stall already against Melvin and a minute plus a riding time. Really great first period over someone as accomplished as Melvin. Second period, Landon goes down. He goes, I'm going to build my lead. I think Melvin kind of cuts him. It's, those, again, like what we're seeing from more high school guys, like, okay, I'm not really going to commit to
Take him down.
Well, that's exactly it. They're like, oh, I'll kind of ride. The guy stands up. Okay, cool. I'm just going to cut him. So he gets away in like under 10 seconds. But then there's a stall on Robidoux.
Robidoux.
And that's really all the action in that period.
Well, that's like all the action in the match.
Yeah, well, that's exactly.
that was it. Like
that really was it.
Things the stall call and riding time getting applied. Like
Melvin chooses neutral in the third. Again, very Bishop McCourt of him to get after get after it on his feet.
I mean, choosing neutral, so smart. It helped him so much.
Yeah, well, I mean, on paper it's not a bad idea, but you think, okay, I can get a stall call, tie up, and then a takedown ties up the match. I just have to ride out to force overtime. Not a bad idea. Instead, Melvin gets his second stall, giving, now he's down 5-0 with a minute left. And finally, Melvin earns a stall against Landon, and he loses 6-1 with the riding time point. So, not what I expected.
So wait,
my excuse
you got?
All right, so I have a theory.
Okay? Oh, it's a theory.
It is. So I've noticed that the Bishop McCourt wrestlers typically don't cut weight. I think Melvin is an undersized 157. I think Bo is an undersized 144.
Okay.
I think Keegan Bassett is an undersized 106.
But Bo won.
Yes, but that's because he's so much better. I think that Bo's more natural weight would probably be 138. But because they have guys like Sam Herring, Devin Magro, CJ Pensiero, they have to start kind of, growing out the weights. And they're going to be like, okay, better guys, you're going to cut less and go up to a more, natural weight. It's why you see Bo and you look at him, you're like, wow, like he is a smaller 144. You look at Melvin Miller and you go, wow, you're up 3 weight classes from last year. Same thing that Bo was last year.
Well, Bo lost last year pretty bad.
Yeah. But
so
I think that's what we're seeing with these guys is they're wrestling a more natural weight, and most of the time it's pretty good for them. But I think that in this scenario, Melvin's a little small, and I'm not going to say that's why he lost, but I think it'd be interesting to see if he wrestled at 150, how he'd do against guys like Colin Guy and Jaden James and Maddox Shaw. I'd be interested to see that matchup.
Yeah, I guess that's a fair point. Yeah, we don't know.
We don't.
Convenient. Had he won, would you still have this theory?
Yeah, I did, because I've been watching some of their guys, and like I see, again, like I do like to follow their program. I think that a lot of them are like, well, I'm just going to try to go up to wrestle tougher guys, and I'm going to cut weight in college anyway. so it doesn't really matter. Let me wrestle a more natural. I kind of noticed it the first time when Bo was at World Team Trials and watching a video of him and PJ Duke wrestling together and thinking, wow, like PJ looks so much bigger than him. And they're only one weight class apart. Bo was 65, PJ was 70 kilo. And yes, that is 12 pounds, but PJ looked massive compared to Bo.
Right. Okay.
And same thing, like I didn't think Melvin Miller, who, I think he wrestled 130. I think he won Super 32 last year at 138. And, granted, he's gotten bigger, but still 20 pounds in 1 year is a lot.
Right.
So it's just something a theory that I'm curious about. And I think it's why it also allows them to have like their gas tank that you see with the Bishop McCourt guys, where they're constantly trying to score, is because they're not cutting weight, so they should have the extra energy. Bo, half of Bo's style is just, I'm just going to keep going after you and make you tired.
Right. Yeah. Even if the score is crazy, which cost him last year, but
it did, and we'll get to it though.
Yeah. Moving on up to the big boys. This is the only matchup of two number ones.
Yeah. So, former New England wrestler Jude Correa, number one at 215, takes on Nick Sahakian.
This really wasn't that close either.
It wasn't. You know what's funny is I thought this was actually gonna be a close match. So I've seen Nick wrestle at Journeyman. He actually wrestled one of my heavyweights. I know that he trains at like Monster Garage. He's a very classic like California wrestler. Understandably, he's going to Arizona State or has connections there. So I've seen him and I'm like, okay, he's a real big guy and he's athletic.
Right.
But that made no difference.
Do you think the injury time was affecting the performance at all?
It could be. I mean, it happened so early in the match that it definitely could have been.
Right.
So it's totally possible that he wasn't. Yeah, it's totally possible to say, he was a little banged up and it affected the rest of the match. If it happened like, end of the third
4-0
period,
to start the match. Yeah, 4-0 takedown and then the injury time escape. Like that's it kind of mentally even is like.
Well, it was 3-0. It was a minute into the match when he called for injury time. And because of that, Correa got choice and he's like, well, I'm going down.
Right.
And so, 4-0 after the first, and
could have been 3-1 had he been able to stay on bottom and get away. So like that completely changes the complexion of
Yep. Second period, not a lot happens.
I mean, do you think he chose neutral because his knee was bothering him?
Yeah, I mean, so he it's interesting because like you wouldn't think neutral because that's a position you don't, it's tough to work out if you have an injury, especially with your leg.
Yeah.
But I think that's why we saw him trying to like pummel a little bit more and coming with like double unders under a much smaller wrestler like Jude Correa. And I think he was like trying to look to, okay, my knee's bad or it's banged up. I can't maybe shoot the same, but I could throw a little bit because I'm so much larger.
No.
Yeah. Didn't work out though.
Yeah, because
so third, Jude goes down, gets a quick escape, 5-0. They have this wild scramble, which ends up going out of bounds, and it's officials get involved. They have to do a review. Is it a takedown? Is it not a takedown? And they end up ruling that it was a takedown, and now Jude Correa is up 8-0.
Yeah,
with, kind of short time left in the third.
And Correa, what's it called? Not Correa. Sahakian gets away.
Yep.
Why didn't you choose bottom in the second?
Well, exactly. It's like, okay, well, if you can get away now, then what the heck?
Already do that.
But I was surprised with how well Correa rode and his ability to like try to return and stay on top. Because he was clearly smaller, but he's a very, very talented wrestler, as we knew already.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be able to hold down a talented, heavier guy.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't try to do more two number ones at two different weights.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, there was only the two of them, you know. There was well, no, not even, because 175. Well, actually, yeah, it was. D-lock it.
Yeah, D-lock it on Ryan Burton. I mean, but like I'm surprised that like they didn't have more matchups like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, moving on up or down.
Yeah, Sergio Vega versus Drew Gorman.
Didn't Vega have a huge win last year? Not at who's number one.
He did at Super 32. He beat Ohio State commit. Maybe he's at Ohio State now. Ben Davino.
Davino. Yeah, okay, yeah. In the
He
semis,
beat
right?
Davino, I believe.
And he lost,
At
right? In the
Super
final?
32 to set up. He lost to Bo in the final. Yeah, Bo Bassi in the finals.
Okay. That's what
Um,
I was remembering it, right? Okay.
Vega has a very slick dump, and he hit it right off the whistle. 15 seconds in, up 3-0 already.
Slowed down after that too. This guy was.
Yeah.
How do you score? Let me find out. Let me go.
And that's it. So Vega riding tough. Gorman finally gets the escape with about 40 seconds left in the match. Again, Vega gets another takedown right into a cradle with 12 seconds left. Gets no backs, 6-1 at the break. And you're thinking, okay, this match might start to get away from us a little bit. Vega gets down, goes down, picks down, escapes in about 40 seconds, 7-1 lead. This is why I like the college rules, is that Drew Gorman shoots in, and Vega is actually looking for the neutral danger takedown, which is awesome because you don't really get to see that a lot at the high school level. And it just shows why scrambling is such an important skill for these guys.
And it's the bane of Dean Heil's existence. So
yeah, it did ruin his career. But they're scrambling, stalemate, nothing left. Vega almost scores again at the end of the period. The time expires. Going into the third, 7-1. Third period, Gorman, he's like, look, I got to get after the points. I got to go big points. I'm going neutral. So Vega shoots first. Gorman sprawls. Vega keeps going, gets another takedown with a minute 30 left. Cuts him and says, okay, it's a 10-2 lead. I'm going to keep getting after it.
Yeah.
And
he's like, I'm number one.
Yeah. He's like, I'm going to look to put exclamation point on this. It's 10-2. I already got my major. I'm going to keep looking for the tech. But not what happened. Drew Gorman gets a takedown now. Vega immediately escapes and
kicks himself.
Yeah, Vega ends up winning 12-5 with riding time.
I mean, that's still a pretty good exclamation point. That's
still great. 7 points.
That might be what that was the largest spread that anyone won by. 7.
Yeah.
So good for him.
Mm-hmm. It's the same thing that Jude Correa had. 7-point spread, but a little bit different though. The way the points worked.
Yeah.
At 200 pounds, this was not the original matchup with Ludington having to back out, but Angelo Posada came down. They kind of had like a catch weight at 200. It was actually a closer match than I thought it would be.
7-2 is closer than you thought?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen Cade wrestle, and he's a great talent, and that's why I was looking forward to seeing him and Ludington wrestling against each other.
Yeah,
but it just didn't work out with injuries, unfortunately, and it's part of the game. But Posada immediately in a shot. Ziola scrambles out, gets his own takedown. Right after that, though, they're back to their feet. Again, these guys do such a good job getting to their feet. I think it's why we're seeing people want to ride less, is that guys are doing the hard part of getting up. So the whole period, 3-1. Nothing too crazy. Second period, Posada goes down. Ziola gives him the escape. Now Ziola's leading 3-2. Close match, pretty close. I'm like, okay, it's exciting. But Ziola gets in a takedown. Less than a minute left. Rides out. 6-2. Okay, solid period. Nothing too crazy. Not as much action as you were hoping for, but still pretty good.
And that's
Ziola
scoring of the match, though.
Yeah, that's the entire match. Ziola goes neutral in the third. gets hit for stalling with a minute left, no score, 7-2 with riding time.
Boring conclusion.
Yeah, but this match though, we're getting to some really good ones now.
Honestly, I want to know why they didn't get Leo DeLuca to go against Knox again.
Yeah, no idea.
I would have loved to have seen that one again, especially because Knox was gonna lose. Like
Well, that
DeLuca
was
had it
he-
all the way to like 10 seconds left.
Knox was losing in this match as well.
Well,
Another come from behind victory. I mean, it's crazy that he is so clutch at in these moments. Anthony Knox looking to become the first ever 4-time Who's Number One champion. The only other person that I know that can do it is Jax Forrest, who is going for his 4th next year, assuming he's invited back. He's 3 for 3 so far, but Anthony Knox historically making new ground. Aaron Seidel, very, very tough Pennsylvania wrestler. Gotten to see this guy at the Pennsylvania State Championship. Blown me away. He went up some weight. Wasn't sure how it would work for him, and clearly not an issue. So
yeah, clearly not an issue if he's this competitive with the guy
yeah,
Caliber Knox going to Cornell.
but first period, kind of feeling each other out. Two serious
Boring.
wrestlers. Yeah, kind of boring, but two serious wrestlers kind of feeling each other out, moving through
See,
position.
honestly, you know how earlier we were saying like we love when those guys like shoot it out and like just let
Yeah.
the points fly. This is the opposite of that. First period, no score. Second
Only,
period,
yeah, I was gonna say only
it's
really
written
one
out.
committed shot, I think.
Like
in the
this
first.
is so 2 periods in, the scores, I mean, it's technically 1-0 because of the riding time, but it's like no points on the board. Like this is like I'd rather the points just be going crazy.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what we're gonna see in the match after this is that they just went nuts for it. But Knox picks down, Seidel rides him out the entire time. Really, really tough on top. So he's got 2 minutes of riding time going into the third, 0-0. Seidel chooses down, gets the escape 30 seconds into the period. He's up 1-0 with a minute, with like a minute and a half of riding time. So he's essentially got a 2-0 lead right now.
Yeah.
He's holding position well. He's hand fighting well. Knox is getting after it. And then with just about 10 seconds left, Knox finally gets through, gets the takedown, rides out,
Crazy.
wins
2 years in a
3-2.
row. 2 years
Yep.
in a row, Knox with like roughly 10, 12 seconds left gets the takedown. Like
Super clutch guy.
he lives for that, I guess. Like, okay, yeah, you could be beating me 99% of the time, but not that last percent. I get
He really has a great like sprint. You really hear like guys like Jordan Burroughs talk about, my 30-second sprint it's insane. And Knox is that guy. He's able to turn it on so hard and really get after it in those last few seconds. But his neutral game really is, I feel like, underappreciated. So
well, he didn't get a takedown here. Well, he
but he
did.
did. He got what he
He
needed.
get a takedown here until the end. I mean, like,
Yeah. But this is a guy that domestically, I believe, I could be wrong about this, was the only person to take down 61 kilo. He was just wrestled Vito.
are we talking about Blaze?
Yep. He is the only person domestically to take down Marcus Blaze. Vito didn't take him down. And if you see any of Marcus Blaze's matches at World Team Trials or Olympic Team Trials, he's not losing because of getting taken down. He's losing on, push out or a shot clock point.
Yep.
So he wrestled all these incredibly tough guys, and the only person to take him down was Knox.
And Knox struggled to take down Seidel.
But again, he gets the takedown when he needs it, and he really did a great job getting it. I'm super excited for his career at I was going to say Penn State, at Cornell.
Yeah, Penn State.
Yep, slip of the tongue. You just think all the good wrestlers seem to go there.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, 132, Jax Forrest, Seth Mendoza. It's another rematch.
I want to know, once Jack's Force gets to college, do you think we're going to continue to see the slide by?
Yeah, I mean, he hits it on like international guys. Like he hits it in world team levels. I'm also
And like
surprised his
when he
success with it.
hits it, it's so slick, so smooth, so
Yeah.
like effortless almost, like yoink,
He
point.
hits it so powerfully too. Like sometimes like he'll kick his whole body into the air when he hits it.
Yeah, like I because you don't see a ton of slide bys in
No,
so
no.
that's why I'm wondering, like, you think he'll have gotten it to the point where he's hitting it in college?
I think so. I mean, we've seen him hit it on Division One wrestlers already, and hit it on Olympic level guys.
That's
But
true. That's a good
you know,
point.
anytime Jax wrestles, to me, it's must see TV. He is someone that really looks to score. He loves to scramble. He gets into some crazy positions. Uh, and I thought this match was actually going to be a little more tilted in Jax's favor.
You thought this was too close, 7-3?
I thought it was closer than I expected. After watching Jax beat Seth in freestyle, but I was thinking like, okay, it'll probably be favoring Jax a little bit more because he's, in my opinion, was better on his feet in freestyle. And
Right.
now that it's 3 points, it's so much extra that you could be scoring. Especially first period, Jax hits a slide by in the first 30 seconds. Immediately gets the takedown.
That's what he did.
Yep, Mendoza gets the quick escape, tries for a takedown. Actions goes out of bounds. First period ends, Jax is up 3-1. Seth Mendoza picks down in the second. Gets the quick escape. Again, we're seeing these guys kind of commit to the ride. They get up. Okay, cool. He's up. I'm out. I'm just gonna cut him and
Yeah.
wrestle from my feet. So Jax is winning 3-2 after the first 8 seconds. Mendoza gets a great shot.
Did you think it was a takedown?
I don't know. It's tough because like every time I think I know the rules of like a cradle takedown, I feel like the
Yeah.
ref's like, well, actually, you're not in the right position anymore. It's this versus that. And I'm like, okay, well,
Yeah,
it's,
no,
it's
I agree. Like, so like I'm looking at it like, how is that not a takedown? And then
yeah.
it's like, yep, this is not a takedown. It's like, all right, whatever.
I
Yeah,
said,
whatever I think it is, it's not.
yeah. I've seen so many refs call it so differently. And then so many people are like, well, actually, the rule is this. And I'm like, well, I know what the rule is, but I see what different refs call it. And that's, you know, but yeah. So Mendoza shoots right off. He's getting some crazy scramble. Jax to his feet. Mendoza gets a near side cradle. They're out of bounds. The officials wave it off. It's not a takedown. Jax is still up 3-2. Going into the third. Jax goes down. Gets the escape, but then he's immediately hits a double right on Mendoza with 140 left. Quick escape from Mendoza. Jax is up 7-3, and that's the whole match. That's how it ends. But I can't underplay like try if you haven't seen this match, try to figure out a way to watch it. If you have a flow account, you can watch it. It should be on YouTube for free, as well. But watching Jax, the positions he goes through, I would love to like have an MRI of his knees because the way he bends sometimes, I'm like, there's no ligaments there.
Yeah, yeah. There's sometimes people that they get in those positions and you're like, I
Yep.
don't think I could do that if I was in.
No. I have no idea how he moves through some of those positions. His ability to be comfortable scrambling to me is amazing. I mean, there's times where I think he's taken down dead to right, and he'll grab, he'll dive under the ankle, grab it, elevate it, come out the back, and it's like, okay, Jax is actually now in scoring position. Okay, he scored. How'd that happen?
Yeah.
So he's always great watch for me.
So moving up, this is another match where the finale of the match was really a dud.
Yep. A lot of these guys, the big points were scored in the first, kind of maybe continued in the second, and then the third, they're like, okay, I'm going to hold position. And the other guy's like, well, I'm not going to get after it as much as I should. So I don't know why. The
Yeah,
only
like,
person that really did it in reverse was the Knox match. That was like,
right,
okay, it's all the actions happening in the third. Most of these other guys, it's all the action in the first and the second.
right.
But I wasn't sure Jaden James was going to win this match. I think in my prediction, I picked Maddox Shaw.
Now, how come 150 had two matches?
They do that every year or so. Because I remember Ryan Jack was in a bracket as well, but theirs was freestyle. They were the only free. It made no sense. So I
Yes,
don't know why they did it that way.
thing sometimes, yeah.
I think they're just like, hey, all these guys are so close to within each other, and maybe it'll be a good matchup.
Right.
So and I've seen them do this with Joe Seeley and Angelo Ferrari as well. That they had like a bracket set up as well. So I think every year they just try to be like, okay, we're gonna do one bracketed one and one just regular. So
Yeah.
my guess is that the number 4 guy at 150 was just like, hey, I'm not interested, and they just went forward with 3. But Jaden James put New Jersey on his back, beating not one but 2 PA boys in back-to-back matches. Great day for him. Really great from his feet. I was super impressed with him at Fargo. Seems like he's only been getting better. Gets the quick takedown off a single 3-1 lead after a quick escape. Close to neutral danger at the end of the first, doesn't get it, whatever. Maddox Shaw goes down in the second, gets the escape. Jaden James continue to get after it. Hits a throw by in the second, ends up with a 6-2 lead, rides out for 18 seconds.
And that's the match.
Yeah, so going to third, Jaden James says, hey, I've already gotten 2 takedowns. I'm going neutral.
I mean, they could have
again,
not wrestled the third period, and
yeah,
nothing would have changed.
0 scoring, 0 stall calls. Just the one time, the 1 point added for riding time, and Jaden James wins 7-2. Goes from as the number 2 guy, he beats the number 3 and beats the number 1 in back-to-back matches. Great night for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Crushed it.
Yeah.
And we're moving up to the
175.
2 marquee matches here.
Ladarian Lockett, man, I always forget he's still in high school because I feel like he's accomplished so much.
Right.
And David Taylor. So just like Kale kind of had David Taylor to build a program around, and not to say he didn't have other guys. I know there's talented guys at Penn State before David Taylor. There's talented guys on the roster with David Taylor. But you think early Kale era.
First NCAA champ.
Yeah. But you think early Kale era, you think young David Taylor.
That was, when the whole team started coming together.
Yeah, and I think Ladarian Lockett is going to be that recruit for David Taylor at Oklahoma State.
D Lockett.
I think he's the guy that he's going to build the program around and be like, hey, he's going to be a big recruiting tool. You're going to see him probably. I'm not sure if he's going to be a true, if they'll let him wrestle as a true freshman, but we'll see. But anyway.
This was more of a exciting match from start to finish.
Yeah, more exciting than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
I've given
2 number 1s. I was hoping it'd be exciting,
Yeah. I've given Lockett some crap in the past about his conditioning, and it seems like that's not really a problem anymore. I gotta be honest.
That darn conditioning that you seem to have gotten. So
yeah. There were times at Super 32 where I watched him and I was like, wow, he just looks exhausted. And I wonder if that's why he went up for the match, or if he just was like, hey, I want to just take on a tougher opponent. Because he just wrestled 74 kilo for the Worlds when he took second at U20s. And that's 163. So I'm like, he can't have gained that much weight in such a short period of time. I think he just wanted to go up for the matchup, and kudos to him. But
you need more guys like that.
So first period though, D Lockett in on a single, comes up with it, treetop position. Ryan Burton kicks out, takes it out of bounds, no score. D Lockett again in on a takedown after a reattack. Hits the double. They say they go out of bounds. But there's a challenge. The call stands. Lockett ends up getting the takedown. He's up 3-0. Again, Burton escapes. 3-1 at the end of the break. We've been hearing that all night. 3-1 at the end of the first.
Well, and then real exciting second period.
Yeah. Friggin' Ryan Burton escapes in 20 seconds.
And that's all that happened.
And that's the period. 3-2 in favor of Lockett. No stalls or anything going into the third. Lockett chooses bottom. Hits a beautiful switch. For some of the guys out there, if you want to teach this technique, this is one way I would highly recommend going back, showing this to your young athletes, younger wrestlers, older guys too. He hits a great switch about 8 seconds into the third. He's now up 5-2. Stall warning on Lockett because he was dropped down in the leg, had to return, didn't. Gets hit for stalling. Ryan Burton gets an escape with a little bit under a minute left, so it's 5-3. Lockett hits another takedown, this time a go behind. Again, such a key move to hit. It is the number one scoring takedown in wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Get good at hitting go behinds.
Yeah, it is the number
Shot,
one.
down block, reattack. That works. Shot, down block, go behind. Awesome setup. But hits a go behind, rides out, wins 9-3. Like I said, I have been super impressed with D. Lockett. He was someone that I kind of came around to because I wasn't as impressed with him at first. I saw his matches and I was like, okay, he's ranked high. He wins a lot, but his wins aren't like quality necessarily or convincing. And I feel like ever since I kind of had that internal thing, he's just been taking it up a notch. And I really believe he's going to be the David Taylor of Oklahoma State.
I hope.
Yeah. So last but not least, the matchup everybody wanted.
So
This
refresh
time-
memories. Who did you and Jack pick?
We both picked Bo.
You guys didn't have faith in Zepeda?
No. So, and you know
Rightfully
what?
so, but
So last year we got crucified for this one because I remember I was like, Zepeda's only big accomplishment at the time was he was a California state champion and a Fargo placer. And I was like,
Right.
that's cool, but like, no offense, a lot of people are state champions and Fargo placers.
right.
And I was like, Bo was on this ridiculous tear. And I said, well, this will be Bo's going to win. And I think I even predicted last year, like Bo majoring him. And that didn't happen at all.
You really had to eat your foot on that one.
Yeah. And I mean, we got comments from every California wrestler in America about, don't you disrespect California wrestling anymore. That's my boy, Daniel Zepeda, PA, not even a real wrestling state. Like all these crazy comments. And I'm like, look, you guys are right. I got to put some respect on the name.
Right.
And, I followed Zepeda and I was like, wow, like such a great wrestler. And then he took in-state losses. And I go, what the heck is going on? He ended up bouncing back. He cut down, ended up winning a state championship again at California State Championship. Huge accomplishment. California State Championship, very, very tough, very difficult state. They do it as an open, so it's not Class A or double A, triple A, whatever. It is just one state, and it whittles down all the way to the champion, and that's why California is so tough. But it's just the sheer volume. I mean, a lot of great wrestlers, but the volume of wrestlers is what really drives them over the edge. Going into this, I predicted Bo because I thought he was the better wrestler the first time and just was way undersized. And one thing we saw, and you even pointed it out, Bo's hand fighting, he kept snapping Zepeda right into his legs.
Yeah.
And I think Bo learned from that. And he went on one heck of a streak after who's number one last year. He won Super 32. He won Ironman. He won Powerade. He, won the World Team Trials. He took bronze at the Worlds. He did all this crazy stuff. And I was like, wow, he's ready.
And he got teched by Zepeda.
Yeah, he got tech pinned.
Oh yeah, tech pinned, that's right.
Yeah. And so Bo, for background, this was in Johnstown, Pennsylvania, Bo's hometown. So like this was his, every little kid came out, like what an entrance. If you guys, again, check it out on YouTube, check it out on Flow. The entrance they gave Bo Bassett for this match was electric. He runs through a ton of like little children, like high-fiving him. he's high-fiving him as he runs down. They're chanting like Bo, Bo, Bo. It's like NCAA kind of stuff. The announcer is just listing every accomplishment Bo has ever had since he was born. And then like he has theme music playing. It's insane. So he was hyped for this match. Came into it ready to prove that was a fluke. You know, Zepeda was the only person to beat him in high school since Anthony Knox did at Super 32 when Bo was an 8th grader. So it had been a while. Anyway, to the actual match. Bo, as soon as the period starts, bam, 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 textbook, Bo Bassett, classic, like hand fighting, getting after it, snap to a single, gets the takedown. First takedown with only less than a minute into the period. Escape. Bo hits another go behind still only a minute later.
First period ended this way,
and then rides out. Yeah, I was surprised he didn't keep going. Bo rides out. He's up 6-1, and I'm thinking, wow, like if the match keeps up like this, it's gonna get out of hand. But then Zepeda picks down the second, gets away instantaneously.
Right.
0 scoring the rest of the match. 0. No stalls, no nothing. So goes into the third, 6-2. Bassett goes down, gets intentionally released. You know, he's cut. So he's up 7-2. He hits another takedown with, about 30 seconds into the period. Zepeda escapes. Bo is still up 10-3. And you're thinking, okay, Bo's up 3 takedowns to 0. And you're thinking, okay, Bo's going to keep getting after it. Zepeda gets a takedown on Bo, which is super rare, and gives up the escape.
It's rare.
Yeah. So gives up the escape. It's 11-6, about 20 seconds left. That's how the match ends. Bo has the minute of riding time. So he wins 12-6. Not quite a major, but still, very convincing win for Bo Bassett. And what do we see as soon as the match is over? Zepeda goes to the camera, and he's not happy. He says, "One more. See you at Super 32."
I love that.
And and we'll get into some Super 32 coverage, right? Coming up pretty soon. So be on the lookout for that. But I got to give Zepeda credit.
Yeah,
he is a dog, and as a Bo Bassett fanboy, it was tough for me to admit that. But this is a guy that, like, clearly his win over Bo wasn't just a fluke. He is a very, very good wrestler.
Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, he's got some skills for sure. It's not, yeah.
And he represents a very strong Gilroy team. I wouldn't say they're as good as Bishop McCourt. So, hate me for that comment. But
hate me for it. But yeah,
I think it was a really great matchup between 1 and 2, and the men's division was absolutely awesome.
Yeah, that was they put on a good event as usual, Flo. Good job. Thumbs up.
It just I felt it was a little sad for me because I wanted to see some other guys in there. I wanted to see the 106 matchups. I wanted to see a 120 matchup. I was hoping to see, Will Henkel in there, PJ Duke, Marcus Blaze, some other big names I was hoping to see.
Luca.
But it still ended up being an incredible event. And I'm thrilled that Flo puts on such a good event for this. And for a lot of the young guys watching, this is really what you should look for in high-level wrestling. The way these guys carry themselves before, after, and during a match, that's how young wrestlers and high school older guys too should try to model their styles after, their careers after. Is watch these guys break down their technique. What are they doing so well? Why are they winning? Why are they losing? What can be done differently? So many high schoolers, especially high schoolers, work super hard in practice. They go to their clubs, they do their off-season tournaments, they watch their film, but I think that they don't necessarily break down the film of other top wrestlers. And a wise man learns from his mistakes, a wiser man learns from others' mistakes. And if you're telling me that, I'm going 126 this season. Cool. Did you watch Anthony Knox versus Aaron Seidel I didn't. Check that match out. It'll help you, see what good positional wrestling looks like and what high level guys look like if you want to go to college for wrestling.
Yes, yes, yes. Very true. So let us know your thoughts on who's number one. What matches were your favorite? How did they go as expected, as you thought they would, or differently? How'd you like our picks and our cover of it afterwards? As always, it's lovely to have you here at Cactus Wrestling.
Always. Our lovely customers.
Our lovely customers at Cactus Wrestling. All right. Until next time, make sure to like and subscribe.
Thanks for watching. We are Cactus Wrestling, and we'll see you next time on our next video.